So this will be my video update. Second video of the day, December the 17th, 2024. Yesterday, I discussed my elation of having run across the BTs. That's what me and my people call them. But it's the basic tenets of Black New African Revolutionary Nationalism. So today, I'm going to read a small segment out of chapter 18, which is the Cultural Revolution. I talked about the Cultural Revolution before, but if I would have had the BTs, then my analysis in some of my previous videos would have been much more precise, right? So I'm just gonna, I'll start it off like this. Okay, chapter 18, the Cultural Revolution. The present task of the organizer is to transform the Black mass pride movement into a Black revolutionary movement, right? Now remember, this was written in 1977. There is no Black pride movement in America today. There is no Black revolutionary nationalists in America today. Nationalist movement. Well, you have some Black revolutionary nationalists running around, but the paucity of their numbers really make them insignificant. They have no effect on the mass psychology of the Black underclass, right? Okay, so I'm going to move on down, and this reading right here is going to correspond to a video that I made yesterday. Rocco, quit tearing up that limb. That's firewood right there. What is wrong with you? It's going to correspond to the video I made yesterday, and it's going to correspond into Ibrahim Traore's video that I played today. Okay, so the purpose of a Black cultural revolution is to destroy the conditioned white oppressors' mores, attitudes, ways, customs, philosophies, and habits, which the oppressor has taught and trained us to have. This means establishing, on a mass scale, a new revolutionary culture. The cultural revolution is a revolution of one's values, and values determines one's actions. The reason why the Black nation is not prepared for political revolution is because its cultural values are tied to the oppressor's system. Let's see, I'll go over here. Okay. Once Black America's cultural values are remade to benefit Black people, we will be prepared for liberation. A cultural revolution is a reconstruction of a people's cultural way of life, occurring in a short span of time very rapidly to move a people to a given objective. What does a cultural revolution change? It changes the values of a people, the way they think, act, and react to everything. Changes the social habits of a people, national mores. Changes the people's relationship to one another. Heavily influences the family structure of a people. Changes the dress and language of a people, formal and informal. Changes the religion or ideology of a people. Changes the political and economic cultural ideology of a people. A cultural revolution brings one, historical interpretation. Clear analysis forms a new historical continuity, causes a re-evaluation of self, group, and others, right? So I'm going to leave it right there, but it's a lot that we're going to read up out of this, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into Ibrahim Traore's video. Dad, what's going on? What you doing?
You want to leave?
Huh?
When you want to leave?
Whenever you want to leave. I got a couple more minutes with this video.
I'll give you 30 more minutes.
Oh, that's good. That's perfect time. Perfect time. You probably really don't need to be going nowhere with that leg. You want me to let the audience see that leg right there?
No. I gotta do all that.
He think he cool as hell, right? But we're going to go ahead and get into this video. And the title of this video is called Ibrahim Traore Addresses Africans Abroad, that means us, in English, and called them to return to their roots to fight. Let's go and get into it. Wait a minute,
I am here to express my solidarity with you and also to tell you that the work you are doing is a great work. We African youth are here to magnify the great work that you have launched, this revolution that you have undertaken. We are here to help you. We, as the youth of Africa, are here not only to magnify your bravo, but we are here to be inspired by this bravo. Excellency, Mr. President, it must be said that we have a request. We see that there are still inequalities in Africa, and we, this youth, we are fighting to reduce these inequalities. The youth also faces employment problems, and it is in this direction that we are working. Excellency, thank you very much for the great work that you have done. We are very proud of it.
The assembly of all the countries of
Here you go.
Africa here was a dream. The African youth
That's him.
can meet, talk to each other,
That's Ibrahim Traore
and
right
talk
there.
about prospects for the future of our continent. I am really very happy to see you, and I can tell you that I love this youth who has understood.
I mean, if you've smoked, you know.
They're just gonna kill
It's
us
hard
with
to
these
get off.
frivolous
And
commercials,
I'll tell you
man.
right now, Breathlink has definitely helped me out.
Who has understood, who's waking up. Our mission is certainly difficult, but thanks to you, the mission is becoming easier and easier. We need to talk to each other to become aware, so that everyone can awaken the awareness
Rocco,
of
knock it
those
off.
who are still sleeping. We have a challenge, and I think that this challenge begins in education first. Many of you are leaders, entrepreneurs, opinion leaders in your country. You must get the message across,
Rocco,
especially to the youngest, and
here.
that our educational systems change to take into account our real data and educate children to become better citizens of tomorrow. Make sure that the youngest and the old who did not understand, that people can understand the meaning of the fight, that we must lead so that Africa can truly end. We have been deculturated. They came to impose on us a culture that is not ours. And I think that today...
You hear what he said? They came to impose upon us a culture that is not ours. Remember, we was talking about hip-hop yesterday. A culture that is not ours.
in all walks of life in Africa, we are gradually returning to our roots. Culture in Africa is peace. It is tolerance. It is in Africa that we talk about the tree of Palade, where people meet to talk and communicate. They introduced war in Africa so that we could never again sit down, discuss, talk, think about the prospects for the future. But today, here is this day. All the African youth are meeting in Ouagadougou. For hours, you will be able to exchange and plan something for the future. From this moment on, each of you is an ambassador to convey the message of the revolution so that the youth get to work, unite, and take their destiny in hand. There is no problem without a solution, as long as we can sit down and talk. But there are also situations where we are forced to fight to bring back dignity and integrity. This is the fight that the Sahelian is waging today.
You hear that, black man? There are situations where we are forced to fight. So I talked about yesterday when men, not kids, not boys, not women, but when men, when they get tired and they say enough is enough, enough is enough. And they have to stand up. They have to drag themselves to the battlefield, even when they don't want to. And they have to go and they have to fight and they have to stand for what is right. That's what you black men, the few of us, there's only a couple of us in America, a few black men in America, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to drag yourself to the battlefield.
That is imposed on us. We thank you all for your constant support for our countries in this fight. You spoke about the growing inequalities in Africa between the rich and the poor. I completely agree. And we are fighting that too. The richest are getting richer, and the poor are getting poorer. This is unacceptable, because it is a system that was created in most of our states so that the richest are the ones who carry the leaders in favor of these imperialists. And the poor always remain poor. And this is what I call Hitlerian politics.
Hitlerian politics.
We must all unite so that these inequalities cease.
I don't see no skull
Because
caps in
in
there.
this union,
No hair weave.
personal interest should not prevail. We should first see the collective interest. And it is possible. Here in Burkina, we have precisely faced many problems in this fight, but we are going to lead it. The richest who have enough. The billionaires, first of all, most of the time, have their fortune in imperialist banks, but have no concern for helping the poorest. We launched the Patriotic Support Fund, where the poorest Burkinabe contribute. We would have liked to see our billionaires come and contribute billions to save our country. But that is not what is happening. And when we do not embark on the same logic of giving them all the state markets, they fight us. Last year, when I spoke with you, I said that I had seen bankers to be able to put a mechanism in place with the state to finance young people. But until today, I have seen nothing. We have been forced to a moment given to set up very quickly a treasury bank to find a mechanism to support young people in their businesses. It is not competition with the private sector, but we must manage to combat inequalities. As long as inequalities are not combated, injustice reigns, poverty reigns, and insecurity will reign. Why do you have to communicate? Because they are the ones who hold the power of money. They will always try to manipulate young people so that we disappear. And today, in Africa, young people are starting to fight against corruption and certain deviations from good governance in their country, and we support them. You must lead us, the leaders, to do the impossible for you. And we will be forced to find the necessary solutions. Otherwise, we will tell you that we are limited to such and such a place. And I hope that we can understand each other. So we have a common mission. Your mission is to lead us to be better, so that the continent is better. And our mission is to do everything possible to exploit the full potential of our countries, so that young people can flourish. I therefore invite you to continue to reflect on this subject, to make the right proposals so that together we can save our continent, Africa. And I know I can count on you to lead the same debates and the same reflections. And to conclude, I would say to you, you have to believe in yourselves. It starts there. Believe in yourselves. Believe in young people. Poverty is what we have been made to understand, but the reality is that we are rich. Let us ensure that our wealth belongs to everyone, and that these young people can flourish, that we have the security that we want, and development. We can and we will win the fight. Good luck to all, and good reflection. So I wish you all a safe return to your country, and that the message that I gave you as ambassador can continue to be perpetuated in your respective states. Thank you very much.
Now, this is a speech that he gave before Africans, not necessarily from the Sahel region, correct? Remember, Ibrahim, this is the title of the video. Ibrahim Traore addresses Africans abroad in English and called them to return to their roots to fight. I'm looking at participants in the audience. I could be wrong. I didn't see anyone from African America. I saw people from everywhere else. I didn't see African Americans. See, African Americans are distinct. You can tell an African American when you see them. You can spot them in a crowd. I didn't see any. Now, good. I could be wrong. But I don't think so, because if African Americans would have attended this conference, black social media, someone in black social media over here would have reported it. We see Africans from the Caribbeans. We see Africans from South America. I didn't see any African Americans, right? So, to the brothers, to the men amongst us, it is time for us to reconnect. I mean, the brother is standing arm in arm with the African diaspora. That includes us. And like I say, we are entitled just as much as anyone that was born and lives on the continent currently. We are entitled to the riches of Africa, our cultures from Africa, our traditions. So much so, just like them. Why should we deny our historical development because we happen to be a apple tree that was planted in America, but apples came from this particular region right here? We still apples, right? So that means that so I'm trying to draw a parallel. We are still Africans. We are entitled just as much as anyone else to the riches and the history of Africa. And again, over here in America, we are in a very unique situation here, right? And I say unique in a good way. We are in the hub, or one of the hubs of technology right here in America. I met a guy recently. I gave him a free copy of Strategic Alliance. When I gave this guy this copy, he's younger than myself. He's probably in his 30s, right? I saw him last night, and he had 6 boys with him, all youngsters. And when I say young, I'm talking about young. And I say, "Are these your kids?" I already knew it was his. He said, "Yeah, this." He said, "This is some of them. It's a few more. All boys, all boys." Do you know what that? See, I don't have any kids, man. So any one of you sisters out there, man, that want to give me a couple, I'm available. I'm available, right? But he had 6. Do you know what that man? I mean, the man has a small cadre at his disposal. 6 boys, and it's probably more. I didn't really want to, I didn't want to ask him, "What, how many kids you got?" Yeah, it was 6 of them right there last night, and I think maybe the oldest might have been 12, right? So he got a whole cadre. Don't you know that if those particular boys underwent a certain ideological and social development, and we sent him to international studies in Africa, Asia, China, India. China and India is a part of Asia, but I'm just naming specific centers of learning. Do we send them? Man, do you know how powerful those young boys could be? Send some of them down to Brazil to study. That's the international connections that we need to make. But I am going to end this video because my pops, he's trying to sneak up out of the house tonight. I don't know what he's going to do, but he's trying to get out. So I got to do something to him right now. But again, like, subscribe to the video, push the notification button. I promise you that in 5 years, this particular channel right here is going to be one of the largest channels on black social media, whereby we give objective news and analysis to our people. I'm telling you right now that I predict, it is my objective, that at the conclusion of our initial work, we're going to be our own media channel. That I predict. So again, we're going to get back to the BTs, which are the basic tenets of black nationalism, which black eventually transformed into New African. Basic tenets of revolutionary nationalism, right? but just refer to them as the BTs. But you guys tell me what you think about Ibrahim Traore. And if you know any of your family members who are businessmen, financiers, involved in tech, man, put them up on Ibrahim Traore. He's telling you to come home right now. He has a place for you. So we're going to end the video at that. And don't forget, man, somebody send me something that we can talk about on Friday, because we're going to have, and I'm still trying to nail the name down. You know, it might be Insane Clown Gang Friday. We're gonna have fun on Fridays. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to end the video. Peace out.